What should your plate look like? How should you compose your meals? How much of each thing? So we're going to answer those questions. Okay, first and foremost, protein. First thing that goes on your plate. All three meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, at least 20 grams, 20 to 30, ladies. You need to spread your protein throughout the day. So at least 20 grams of protein on your plate per meal for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. And then with your snacks, you're going to also incorporate some protein. But as far as your plate goes, protein is the first thing that goes on there. Then vegetables. And you want to mix it up. Don't let yourself get bored with what you're doing. So mix up your starchy vegetables with the low carb vegetables. It also makes it easier to hit your targets at the end of the day. Your starchy vegetables carry a lot more carbs than your non-starchy vegetables. By starchy vegetables, things like sweet potatoes, butternut squash, eggcorn squash, things of that nature, whereas your lower carb vegetables would be like your green leafy vegetables, broccoli, things like that. Try and mix it up, one of each on your plate at your meals. Fruit, yes, fruit is higher in carbs. Fruit is great. Fruit, you do want to limit your fruit though. You shouldn't be having more fruit than vegetables. So depending on the meal, yes, you can put some fruit in there as well. But fruit is natural. It's natural sugar, but it is sugar nonetheless. So you don't want to be eating a ton of fruit during the day. All right, so we've got your protein, got your vegetables, try and mix it up, some starchy, some non-starchy, and fruit maybe or maybe not, depending on what meal it is. And then if you're having any kind of grain, which would be something like rice, oatmeal, pasta, things of that nature, that would also be on your plate. But for the most part, the two most important parts of that meal are your protein and your fresh vegetables for all three of those meals. As far as the quality of your food, so we want to follow the 80-20 rule. So 80% of your day, you want to be eating food that is whole, healthy food. You want to try and stay away from things that come out of a bag or a box, which are basically your refined foods. So eat the best quality foods during your meals that you can. Your vegetables, try and keep them fresh or frozen if you need to do frozen is fine. But you want to try and stay away from like canned things or a lot of processed, refined type of prepared foods. I always think I want to eat as close to it coming out of the ground as I can, so I try to stay with fresh. And you keep it a lot simpler that way as well. But anyway, 80% of your day, whole healthy foods. Then the other 20% of your day allows you to have those, what I call fun foods, or that treat. Like I say, I want you to treat yourself every day. I want you to have something that you're really going to enjoy eating. And that 20%. If most of your day is comprised of fresh, healthy, whole foods, you can have that 20% and feel fine about it and be good with it. So my philosophy, and this is just my philosophy, I eat the best quality food that my budget allows. And the reason why I do that, I don't mind paying more for my food, is because I look at it as a preventative for down the road. I feel that if I eat a lot of food that is low quality, or a lot of food that's in bags and boxes and things like that, that's the refined foods, that's the food that has a lot of chemical additives, vegetables that have pesticides and things like that, I feel that down the road I'm going to be paying for making those choices now. So I choose to pay a little more, eat food that's a better quality now, so that I don't have to pay down the road more to a doctor because I have whatever kind of things I had. So that's just my philosophy on quality of food. But yes, eat the best quality food that you can as far as your budget allows. All right, let's talk about a couple of meal prep ideas that would be helpful for you. So protein, try and cook a lot at once. Try and cook a lot of, if it's chicken, try to cook a lot of chicken at one time so you have it in your fridge for a few days, 3-4 days. And it's so easy to change things up with just different seasonings. You don't have to think about, oh, I need to make different recipes all the time, because that's not the case. You can take chicken and have it 4 different ways just by changing up the seasonings. You can use Mexican seasonings. You can use Italian seasonings. Change it up that way. Keep it simple, especially in the beginning. Keep it simple, and easy to track. So regardless of what kind of meat you're using, you can just change it with the spices, like I said. Okay, vegetables. I like to prep a lot of vegetables at one time. I will do a lot of starchy vegetables at one time and put them all in the oven at the same time. Sweet potatoes, butternut squash, I'll prep it, put them both in the oven at the same time. So now I've got 2 different vegetables there. And then I'll also choose 2 non-starchy vegetables that I'm going to prep. I'll usually prep 4. So my non-starchy vegetables, for an example, let's just say I'm going to have sauteed cabbage and steamed broccoli as my non-starchy. I can cook both of those on the stovetop at the same time while my starchy vegetables are in the oven. Saute my cabbage, steam my broccoli. Okay, now I've got 4 vegetables done for the next few days. Another thing that I do, and I love this, is that I'll just take a huge baking pan, put all of my favorite vegetables in there, 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and give it a stir so that the vegetables are coated a bit. And I mean a big pan. And then I'll cover that pan with foil, put it in the oven, 375 for 30 to 40 minutes, depending on what the vegetables are. Take the pan out. I've got a huge pan of vegetables. It's gonna last me for 4 days. I can eat with that. So you kind of get the idea. If you prep and you make a lot at one time, then you've got food for many days. Leftovers. That's another great thing. I will cook a big dinner and then have the leftovers for lunch the following day. And again, I keep my meals really simple. Protein, vegetables, healthy fat, easy to track, easy to plan. It just makes it super easy for you to be successful. So I hope that these tips and tricks and showing you what your plate should look like have helped. Talk to you soon.